few minutes as we let everyone in.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sophia Brink. I am a legislative aide for the Office of Supervisor David Canepa. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. So good evening and welcome to our age-friendly webinar. We are here tonight to help transform San Mateo County into a caring community that encourages people of really all ages to live active lives and to also make sure we prioritize the needs of older adults. This is actually the second of a series of informational webinars the office has created to help inform the community of a variety of important issues and keep the community in the know. We have a variety of speakers representing 6 county cities who have been involved in developing projects that will benefit our older adults. Before we begin, there are a few points of housekeeping. If you are logged into Zoom or Facebook, please use the Q&A feature to submit your questions. If you are on Zoom, you can also use the chat feature. If you are phoning in, please press *6 to mute and unmute and *9 to raise hand. Our team members will also be monitoring the inbox, and we are also live on Facebook, so feel free to visit the live stream there. Our staff is available to take your question. Please contact Gabby Godoy at 650-619-0746 or through email at ggodoy1@smcgov.org. Finally, tonight we have Francisco Dolores, who will translate tonight's webinar to Spanish. To hear this translation, call this toll-free number at 1-877-999-7276. We have a packed agenda for this evening. We will have introduction remarks from Supervisor Canepa, followed by Dr. Anabel Pelham, who will talk about the background and future of age-friendly cities. We are fortunate to hear from community leaders who will talk about their exciting city projects. There will be an opportunity for a question and answer session with our panelists, followed by closing remarks from our supervisor. Now, it is my honor to introduce you to someone who doesn't need any introduction, your County Supervisor, David Canepa. He has been a strong proponent for our older adults in San Mateo County. Supervisor Canepa has really spearheaded this endeavor after Peninsula Family Services brought Dr. Pelham to our attention. He and the board were able to allocate funds for the past 2 years in order to pursue the goal of an age-friendly county. He has been a strong advocate for our older adults by being a representative on both the Commission on Aging, San Mateo Medical Hospital Board, and the Health Plan of San Mateo. Now, please welcome Supervisor David Canepa.
It's always good to have your mute button on. So let me just say good evening, and thank you for joining us on this journey to make San Mateo County an age-friendly community. I've had the privilege to work with both the county and CAFE in working with 6 cities toward certification. I'm pleased to announce that Redwood City, Daly City, Pacifica, Colma, and San Mateo are age-friendly certified, and Foster City is well on its way. Today, we celebrate an important milestone with an eye toward ensuring that all our cities and the entire county are designated as age-friendly. As many of you know, our county is rapidly aging. By 2030, it's estimated that 30% of the population will be over the age of 65. And in the US, 20% will be over the age of 65. This transformation has been referred to as the silver tsunami, but I prefer to call it the golden wave. I would definitely prefer that terminology. As I mentioned before, the golden wave is our future. Make no mistake about it. We have all seen older Americans are working longer and are quite involved in their communities. San Mateo County has been committed to supporting older adults as they take charge of their health, explore new opportunities, and focus on independence. We will see this evening some of the amazing projects cities have implemented in order to help assist older adults toward a path of independence and a good quality of life. Getting older shouldn't be considered a bad thing, but should be considered as another phase of life where interests and dreams can be pursued. The opportunity for the county to become age-friendly has raised the awareness of cities to approach projects in a different light. We need to accommodate our aging population. They have laid the foundation in our cities. It is now time for us to create an environment that encourages people to live active lives and produce groundbreaking projects that help accommodate our aging population. I would like to personally thank Anna Salamora and Nicole Fernandez from Aging and Adult Services, the famous, really special person, Dr. Anabel Pelham, and her team from the Center for Age-Friendly Excellence. I want to thank my colleagues on the Board of Supervisors, and no other than our county manager, Mike Callaghy, for making this project a reality. And I truly want to thank Mr. Callaghy, Mike Callaghy, and my colleagues for really being supportive of this project. We now have 5 cities that are age-friendly certified and 1 on the way. We only have 14 cities left to go. I especially want to thank Redwood City, Daly City, Pacifica, Colma, San Mateo, and Foster City for their endless hours in developing and implementing projects that make all their cities a little more comforting for older adults. This is a prime example of how partnership can collaborate and make our county a better place to live. I just want to say I'm extraordinarily proud of these cities and what they've accomplished. I'm proud that we've been certified through the WHO. And I just want to say this, we can never leave anyone behind. And our older Americans deserve that respect. So on that note, it gives me a great honor and pleasure to hand it off back to Sophia. I'm really looking forward to tonight, and thank you very much.
Supervisor. I now have the pleasure to introduce Dr. Anabel Pelham, who has been instrumental in assisting the county down its journey toward transforming San Mateo County to really an age-friendly county. Dr. Pelham is president of the National Association of Professional Gerontologists, an emeriti professor and founding director of the gerontology program at San Francisco State University. She is also a founding director of the Center for Age-Friendly Excellence. It is such a pleasure to have Dr. Pelham as our guest speaker this evening. Dr. Pelham, you may now speak.
Thank you. Thank you for that lovely introduction. I appreciate it very much. First of all, heartfelt thanks and gratitude to Supervisor Canepa for your leadership and your courage. It's been an amazing collaboration of social change, and we're so grateful to work with you. I also want to thank and express our gratitude to the core leadership team from San Mateo County that we've been working with for the last 2 years. We depend on you. You've been such amazing colleagues, and it's a love fest here in a way of success in San Mateo County, and we're very grateful to you. I'm going to say just a few words, just a couple, 3 minutes here, but the way the process works in San Mateo County is we collaborate with a county-wide group of leaders. We refer to them as the core team. We meet once a month, and we offer updates, we solve problems and the like, and to enhance our community organization process in the cities that we're working with. And the core groups helps us connect CAFE and our colleagues and our team with each city. And we work with the core team to identify inclusive and diverse age-friendly task forces in each city. The core team and the task forces then help us locate older adults to serve on multiple focus groups to connect us with the community organizations to put forward our age-friendly cities initiative. So we have task forces in every city, we have focus groups in every city. We also work with community organizations in every city to promote the initiative of an age-friendly city. The next thing we do is we reach out to existing quantitative data. Most cities have a fair amount of data on their residents, so we study all the existing data, and then we mix that, we combine that with what we learn from our focus groups in every single city. And that gives us a real-time sense of what kind of programs and services are needed to address unmet needs. Then the task force helps us to develop new project ideas to address those unmet needs. And we share these and the project ideas with the core team, with our elected officials. And in this way, we can promote an evidence-based, age-friendly city community. So let me talk about some of the pluses here. There are real economic benefits to being an age-friendly city. Resilience, vibrant city planning, attracting businesses and organizations to well-run cities, progressive and working to create community. Those are hallmarks of an economically prosperous city. The other thing that happens is that age-friendly cities create social capital. They are employing and empowering older persons, families, and community organizations to make cities more user-friendly and enhance the quality of life for all ages. This is real social capital. The other thing is age-friendly cities allow county and city leaders to make more efficient and targeted infrastructure changes and budgetary decisions. So limited city and county budgets can be responsive to actual needs and attentive to those of the older persons in their communities. And finally, age-friendly cities result in healthy communities, in that when we have the quality of life is improved for all ages, a variety of resources can be directed at problem solving, improving public health and well-being, better transport, housing, parks and health services, and key structural domains that contribute to healthy communities. And so let's hear from some of those communities right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pelham, for working with San Mateo County and doing such a wonderful job working with our cities to become age-friendly certified. Thank you so much for that. We are fortunate to have representatives from 6 cities in San Mateo County with us this evening. We will hear from Redwood City, Daly City, Pacifica, Colma, San Mateo, and Foster City. 5 of these cities are currently age-friendly certified, and Foster City is on its way. The process would have been impossible to implement without the city council of each city. They were quite supportive in keeping an open mind to trying something new, and we're also able to see a future vision of a community that prioritizes our older adults. We have a few elected officials that were involved in this process, so I would like to acknowledge Mayor Diane Howard from Redwood City, Mayor Glenn Sylvester from Daly City, Councilmember Mary Beer from Pacifica, Mayor John Goodwin from Colma, Councilmember Amarency Lee from San Mateo, and Councilmember Sam Hindi from Foster City. Our speakers for this evening are from Redwood City, Laura Swarchel, who is the Director of Fair Oaks Adult Activity Center. From Daly City, we have Cherie Carol Moreno, who is the Commissioner of San Mateo County Commission on Aging. From Pacifica, we have Roy Ernest, who is the Chairperson of the Pacifica Age-Friendly Community Coalition. From Colma, we have Angelica Abelana, who is the Town of Colma Interim Recreation Manager. From San Mateo, we have Vince Simeonitis, who is an aging and retirement activist. And finally, from Foster City, we have Patricia Maxwell, who is the owner of Maxwell Senior Care, Geriatric Care Management, and also founder of the Foster City Village. We will start the presentation with Laura Swarchel, who is the Director of Fair Oaks Adult Activity Center. Laura, you may now speak.
Thank you, Sophia. I feel very fortunate to be here this evening and share with you about how important this initiative is to Redwood City and how we continue to support our older adults in all their diversity, make Redwood City a better place for all of us. Older adults are calling for a shift in the way they think and talk about aging. I feel like this is a great time to reframe the discussion about aging and build on the good news and benefits of our demographic shift. Instead of focusing on the limitations of growing old, this group is thriving when offering knowledge, skills, experiences, and connections that help our community grow. And the beauty of Age Friendly is that it doesn't exist without the voice of community members itself. People of all ages have so much to contribute. And our city is so proud to join the Age Friendly initiative. When the Age Friendly Task Force met last year, we decided that based on the feedback from community older adults focus groups, we would focus on two major goals. The first goal, increase socialization opportunities for older adults. And the second goal was increase the use of technology by older adults. We plan to create monthly pop-ups events throughout the city. And our intention was and still is to bring the fun to them. Give them easy access to the events where it was easy for them to park. It was during the daytime where they felt safe. So our first pop-up party was a theme based on harvesting. It was scheduled last year in September. We have a beautiful garden at the Fair Oaks Activity Center, and we held the pop-up party there. About 37 older adults participated. We served wonderful hors d'oeuvres. There were wonderful, great decorations that, went with the theme of harvesting, great music. We also had a little bit of wine, but they also brought their own drinks if they didn't want to partake of alcoholic beverages. And it was great atmosphere and great fun. The music was amazing. And because it was held in our beautiful garden where there's tons of herbs, vegetables, and flowers, we invited the UC San Jose Master Gardeners to actually participate and be there for questioning and answers about harvesting, along with our wonderful group of garden club that it's held at the community center on a regular basis. The second event was an age-friendly expo fair. And this was held at the Memorial Veterans Senior Center. Over 30 vendors exhibited their services, and we had over 150 participants of all ages participate on that event. Now, this event was sponsored by Anavista, which is an IT nonprofit organization that specializes in actually educating and training older adults in the IT world and social media. Future projects. During the shelter in place, many older adults in our community feel isolated and disconnected from the world. They are scared to go outside. And as we know, older adults would fall into depression and sadness when they're not connected to people and to social gatherings. We are implementing Connected and Healthy at Home pilot project. 15 tablets were purchased, and we actually have 8 participants that had gone through the tablet training in order for them to move forward to the second phase of the training, which is the Zoom training. The objective here is to connect older adults now during sheltering in place and COVID-19 to the outside world, where they are able to actually connect with medical services providers, exercise activities, maybe garden tours, maybe museums, and get them engaged and connected to the outside world and prevent them from become isolated and depressed. So we right now are offering this training in Spanish and English. We just finished with the first 8, and now we're moving forward with the second group. The Magical Bridge. We are establishing a special day where only older adults can go to the park. Redwood City is so proud to include this park as an age-friendly project where everyone can play and have fun. We're also incorporating drive-through activities. If the older adults can't come to us, we're going to them. We're driving by and waving hello to them. We're actually handing them masks, flowers, cards, and puzzles. We're taking pictures of them, and we know how important older adults are about seeing themselves in pictures, especially on our newsletter. They love that. And our last project that we are working in the future is Say Smile Project. We know how important intergenerational activities are for older adults. They get to interact and have fun with young adults. We have partnered with the sophomore group from Saratoga High School, which they're making handmade cards with messages of hope and love. They're actually making booklets with arts and crafts and activities for them to do. They're providing word puzzles, poems. They're including fitness tips in those activity guides, and they're also calling them on a weekly basis to interact with each other and exchange experiences. Now, all these services are being provided in our Grab and Go through lunch program from Monday through Friday in both centers, in the Veterans Senior Center and in the Fair Oaks Adult Activity Center. Redwood City is a city moving forward towards an age-friendly world. And I feel so lucky to be part of this wonderful task that has worked so hard in the past last year before COVID-19, and is right now working in so many projects in order to provide our older adults with the attention and the services they deserve. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Laura, for your presentation. Redwood City was the first city to get age-friendly certified, so you have paved the way for other cities. Thank you so much, Laura. We will now have Cherie Carol Moreno, who is the Commissioner of the San Mateo County Commission on Aging from Daly City. Cherie, you may now speak.
Thank you, Sophia. I'd like to start by acknowledging Supervisor Canepa and the team, Dr. Anabel Pelham and Cynthia Nakayama of Center for Age-Friendly Excellence, and Rafi Nazarian of AARP. On behalf of our Daly City Mayor, Glenn Sylvester, City Manager Shauna Maltby, the supporters of Dolger Senior Center Incorporated, and the Age-Friendly Task Force of Daly City, especially my co-chair and Bay Shore Senior Advocate Phyllis Rizzi, good evening. My name is Cherie Carol Moreno, and I've been a proud resident of Daly City for 40 years. My beautiful city was incorporated in 1911. While our recreation services, parks, and libraries have been serving our community since 1934, this year we celebrate 40 years of dedicated senior services. 4 decades ago, establishing dedicated services for older adults was largely a citizen-driven effort with significant philanthropic support. So while working on our age-friendly application, we realized and we've come to fully appreciate that every department in our city and our strategic collaboration with residents and partners already contribute to our truly being an age-friendly community. We envision our current work on our age-friendly Daly City Action Plan to continue and expand on this tradition of partnership and collaboration. Daly City boasts the largest population of all Daly City County cities. We are diverse in every sense of the word: age, socioeconomic condition, sexual orientation and gender identity, culture, and ethnicity. Over 30 languages are spoken in the homes of our local school district. Older residents make up 23% of our population and today outnumber children under the age of 18, which is why Daly City is thrilled to have been designated an age-friendly community just in June. Our task force has just begun work on our 5-year action plan informed by priorities generated by our 5 focus groups, and they are the older adult parishioners of Holy Child and St. Martin's Episcopal Church, residents of Hillcrest Gardens, the women of the Filipino Bayanihan Resource Center, and the older adult participants at our Dolger Senior Center and Lincoln Park Community Center. Our immediate next steps include expanding that task force, expanding our focus from the 2 domains in our age-friendly application to all 8 domains, plus the new domain of emergency preparedness, and continuing the significant progress already made on the communication and information and transportation domains. May I elaborate on that progress even during the pandemic? We're collaborating on tech education for older adults with our weekly Happy Hour program. We've identified sites for improved audiovisual systems at our older adults serving community centers. We recently received a donation of 80 laptops for dedicated use for older adults. We have what's called our interim virtual senior center, which is actually www.dalycityseniors.org, which provides enhanced information and referral. We have a monthly calendar of programs offered by Daly City Recreation and Library Services with partner agencies, including Peninsula Family Service and Mission Hospice. We offer weekly Go for Life fitness classes over Zoom, interactive recorded bi-monthly 90-minute online programs over Facebook Live and Zoom, providing fitness, music, trivia, and nutrition programming. We also have a Facebook page, www.facebook.org/Daly City Seniors page. We've converted the main phone line to senior hotline to handle 1,200 calls since March. And this month, we start hosting a year-long virtual celebration of Daly City Active Adult and Senior Services on our 40th anniversary. Now, for the pandemic, we've aimed to free older adults from isolation. And during this time, we launched our senior resource line, which provides telehealth checks, friendly calls, and support groups with our partners Institute on Aging, Peninsula Family Service, Unitech College School of Nursing, Daly City Partnership Healthy Aging Response Team, the Daly Cities Retirees Association, and Daly City staff. We also developed an e-newsletter for residents who are 50 years and older that provides program updates, and we launched an intergenerational pen pal program with Daly City Library Services and local school teachers. We collaborate with Second Harvest of Silicon Valley for grocery distribution and Peninsula Volunteers and Heart to cook and deliver meals to 150 older residents. We also facilitated the AARP Tax Aid Program out of Lincoln Community Center for 87 seniors. We stay connected with our collaborators through regular meetings, and we continue to communicate with over 200 older adult volunteers while recruiting a pipeline of new volunteers. Finally, in transportation, Daly City was the first city in North County to offer Got Wheels, a 24/7 affordable alternative transportation program for residents 70 years and older. This Peninsula Family Service Program is funded by San Mateo County with the endorsement of Supervisor Canepa and will soon serve 12 cities and the San Francisco International Airport. So you can see we're really moving along and we're very excited. And thank you very much for your support.
Carrie, for that great presentation. You have been such a wonderful advocate for our older adults. Your other roles as the Got Wheels coordinator at Peninsula Family Services and commissioner on the San Mateo County Commission on Aging has been proven to be quite beneficial for Daly City. So thank you very much. Let us now have Roy Ernest, who is the chairperson of the Pacifica Age-Friendly Community Coalition, present for the city of Pacifica. Roy, you may now speak.
Thank you, Sophia. Hi, everyone. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm getting very inspired listening to everyone talk about their age-friendly initiatives. I wanted to start out by just mentioning the wonderful people I get to work with in the Pacifica's Age-Friendly Community Coalition. And they are Cindy Abbott. She's the executive director of the Sanchez Art Center, one of our community art center that's absolutely fantastic, and you're all invited to come and check it out. And Mary Beer, who's our Pacifica City Council member, and she's also director of Pacifica Prevention Partnership, a project of Jefferson Union High School District. Jim Lang, who everyone here in town knows is the Senior Center Director, but his formal title is the Recreation Manager with Pacifica Parks, Beaches, and Recreation, and the Pacifica Community Center, and of course, Senior Services. Michael Mao, who's one of our commissioners for the San Mateo County Commission on Aging, and the managing attorney for his law firm, the Mao Law Firm. And last but not least, Anita Reyes, who's the executive director for our Pacifica Resource Center, which is our local social service center that helps probably thousands of Pacificans every year. So our task force, which we now call Coalition, started meeting in January of 2019. And I was recruited, as we all were, by Anabel Pelham. We started meeting soon after we formed, and when we started out, we met one of CAFE's longtime staff members, Cynthia Nakayama, who from the Center for Age-Friendly Excellence, who helped us go through a planning and development process. One of the first things we did is we recruited older adult Pacifica residents to participate in focus group discussions. And for those that couldn't participate in the focus group discussions, we called some people on the phone and talked to them one-on-one. Based on the input from those participants, they helped us identify unmet needs of Pacificans who are age 60 plus. And out of that information, we selected 3 inaugural projects, which I'll be going over in a minute. We completed the first phase of our planning in June of 2019, when we submitted our application to the World Health Organization to have Pacifica certified as an age-friendly community. Since that time, we've been working on the following age-friendly projects that were based, again, on the input we received from our focus group participants. our first project that we really wanted to get started as soon as possible, and something that the city had begun working on right before we started meeting, was a senior transportation program known as, which we call as Connect a Ride, which if you take the letters from each word, spells car. And that started in November of 2019. And this was modeled after a similar program in San Mateo. And they were very helpful in helping us figure out many of the details. This program was needed because many Pacificans were telling us that when they called Lyft, Uber, or other taxi companies for rides, the rides weren't showing up. So we reached out with the leadership of Jim Lang. We reached out to Sarah Cab, who agreed to be the service provider for the Connect a Ride program, and gave us a guarantee that they would provide a team of drivers who would show up when called by members of the CAR program. And they have, which we're very pleased with. This program helps to reduce isolation and directly addresses a significant transportation gap for seniors in our community. Rides can be for social gatherings, daily tasks, medical appointments, shopping, and just living a good life. The program is for residents 65 plus, and the funding for the program was made possible through a generous bequest from the Circa Nukanen Trust. Participants receive 8 one-way rides per month, and it's loaded onto a rider card that they each are given. And accessible vehicles will be available upon request at no additional cost, and all rides must begin or end in Pacifica city limits. The cost for rides is $5 per ride, and the remainder of the fare within city set boundaries that we have for this program is subsidized by the trust that I just mentioned. And car riders may bring a guest if they have the same pickup and drop off point. So that's our one of our projects. The other project is around housing, and we heard from many people that they were concerned about. Some of them were concerned about their own housing, but they knew many people that were really concerned about the high cost of rents and mortgages that they were paying. So we knew we couldn't solve the housing crisis here in Pacifica, but we knew we could put a dent into it. And we came up with the idea of developing a guide for low and moderate income older adults who are searching for subsidized housing. The guide's intention is to demystify the bureaucracy that surrounds these types of programs and provide people with support as they navigate through it. This guide will be based on currently available information from the Pacifica Resource Center, Pacifica's website, there's information on the Pacifica's website, the San Mateo County Housing Authority, and an excellent presentation developed by the Silicon Valley Independent Living Center, who has agreed to kindly share their presentation material with us so we can adapt it for information for the housing challenges that Pacifica residents and people in San Mateo County deal with. The guide will provide tips on how to prepare for and organize a search, where and how to apply, what to do when faced with waiting lists, and where someone can go to receive assistance with their search and with accurately filling out applications. And I'll save you the suspense. What people should do when faced with waiting lists is not to give up. That's the strategy with that. In partnership with the City of Pacifica, local organizations, and volunteers, what we plan to do is offer 3 workshops per year via Zoom now until the pandemic abates. And they'll be provided, we'll also provide as well one-on-one sessions with anyone who'd like to have someone go over the guide with them as needed. We'll also provide referrals to local organizations that can provide support with using the guide and conducting their housing search in a methodical and effective way. In addition to the guide, we're also going to organize presentations about ADUs that are specifically geared towards older adult homeowners. Along with practical information on size limits, regulatory requirements, and the cost involved in having an ADU added to a person's property, they'll also highlight and focus on age-friendly aspects of ADUs, such as how families can use them to house their family's elders, how they can provide added income for house-rich but income-poor older homeowners, and how they can be used as housing for family or paid caregivers as homeowners grow older. We also want to promote greater awareness, understanding, and community support of the 3 low and moderate income subsidized senior apartment complexes that we're blessed with here in Pacifica. We also want to promote HIP Housing Shared Housing Program and any other housing programs that we have here in San Mateo County. And we also want to make this project plan and our guide available to other age-friendly communities that want to do this as well. Our last project is recognition of local businesses and organizations that use age-friendly practices. And in this program, we discovered is being done in age-friendly cities in many parts of the country. This is an idea that's come up in a growing age-friendly network that's out there. And so it'll be based on similar projects conducted by other age-friendly cities throughout the United States. We haven't started it yet because the pandemic has kind of put a lot of businesses, just about all, in a very tough spot, and we didn't want to lay this project on them while they were struggling to stay afloat during the pandemic. So we've put this project on pause. But when we are able to proceed with this, it'll be done in partnership with local businesses, hopefully the Chamber of Commerce, of course the city, and interested resident volunteers. The project's I already said that. We're going to offer training for local businesses and organizations that want to enhance their age friendliness. And some examples include, but are not limited to, training employees to assist customers who have vision and hearing challenges, installing a bench outside businesses for customers waiting for pickup, making sure that glass doors are clearly marked, restocking shelves during times when there are fewer customers, and offering special hours of operation for persons over age 60. There's many, many other strategies that it's too long of a list to share tonight. And we're also looking forward to the time when we can recognize our local businesses and organizations that use age-friendly practices in how they conduct their business and events. I also want to close with sharing that after I was involved with the Pacifica's Age-Friendly Community Initiative, I got to know Cynthia very well, and also I got reconnected with Anabel, who I've known since the 80s when I met her at a conference when she first started managing and guiding the gerontology program at San Francisco State. And towards the end of their time with Pacifica, they offered me a job with the Center for Age-Friendly Excellence. And it's been a great honor to work with Cynthia and Anabel this year with Colma, San Mateo, and Foster City. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Roy. Pacifica has some really fantastic projects. I know you have also been extremely instrumental in your role working with CAFE in assisting some of our San Mateo County cities to become age-friendly. So thank you so much, Roy.
Welcome.
Now we will have Angelica Abelana, who is a Town of Colma Interim's Recreation Manager. Angelica, you may now speak.
Angelica, you're muted. How about unmuting yourself?
Hello, I apologize about that. Just having a little bit of technical difficulties. So good evening. My name is Angelica. I am a part of the task force of the town of Colma. Today I will briefly go over the town of Colma's age-friendly projects. The process of earning age-friendly status began in 2017 when our mayor and task force member John Goodwin attended an age-friendly summit in Redwood City. With the help of former and current city staff, as well as my fellow task force members, Maureen O'Connor, the executive director of the Colma Historical Museum, Mayor John Goodwin, Liz Taylor, the member of the San Mateo County Commission on Aging, Stephanie Morgan, the associate senior director of Colma's Veterans Village, as well as our town residents and the amazing staff from CAFE, especially Cynthia Nakayama and Roy Ernest. Colma's application was processed and approved on September 9th, 2020. Through multiple focus groups held online and a few telephone focus groups, we were able to identify the unmet needs of older adults in Colma. Our projects will focus on the domains of social participation and transportation. Prior to the pandemic, the Town of Colma and Recreation Department would offer older adults a wide range of programs and activities at affordable costs. Currently, we are providing older adults with lunch and deliveries, art kits, and Zoom activities through the pandemic. Although programs and activities are offered, there is still a low number of registrations. The task force knew we needed to identify those who were not regulars to our program. Even with a close community like Colma, there needs to be an alternative form of communication to reach isolated seniors that did not answer phone calls from neighbors or unknown callers, or may have overlooked our monthly newsletter. Our door hanger project will allow us to communicate another way with older adults and help identify those individuals as isolated. The door hanger will include a phone number, a simple check-off statement to help identify an individual as isolated. A few non-threatening, non-personal statements would include, I'm interested in talking to someone to learn about available services and activities, to I'm already informed and aware of all activities and do not wish to be contacted regarding these. Once isolated seniors who want to be connected have been identified, they can be connected to appropriate services and activities or possibly paired with a friendly caller. This door hanger project ties into our additional projects, if time permits, to provide older adults with community services, community resources, and this would be a hard copy booklet that would be available to the community and updated periodically. Our next project will focus on transportation as well as mobility and pedestrian safety. Focus group participants felt that transportation and mobility are key barriers for older adults in Colma who are unable to drive or if they enjoy walking. Colma has opportunities in place and are planning to facilitate collaborative implementation between different agencies and departments to ensure the needs of our older adult communities are met. As the Colma portion of our El Camino Real Hillside Boulevard are redesigned, senior usage safety can be included in planning. In the 2018, a final systematic analysis report was designed for Colma, and the report identified potential projects that would improve our pedestrian safety, such as a no right turn on red signs. In our focus group, it was brought to our attention of an intersection needing this. We are pleased to say that it has now been implemented and drivers can no longer make a right turn on a red light from Lawndale to Hillside Boulevard. The report included improvement in lighting, which is currently being incorporated to our Mission Road project, and opportunities exist along Lawndale with medium improvement of the CIP upgrades. Our focus groups discussed the need for rest stops along sidewalks for those who do not drive or enjoy walking. The Mission Road project is currently underway and will allow an opportunity to include benches along the route. And the capital improvement plan includes an element of medium work on Mondale, which will present an opportunity to provide benches. And there's also still a need for benches in our Sterling Park neighborhoods. Colma's El Camino Real Bicycle and Pedestrian Improvement Plan, SB1 funds are currently in the planning process, and the plan will address walkability and bikeability issues, and all segments of the community will participate in the plan strategy. As for transportation in Colma, for older adults, the Got Wheel Senior Ride Service has expanded from Colma into Colma and Brisbane as of May of this year. 25 slots were made available at a first come first served basis, and this opportunity was publicized in our live wire and through our senior meals distribution, emails to our Veterans Village, and social media. We're happy to say that 16 of those 25 slots are currently filled by Colma residents. Colma is currently in the process of creating our action plan, and we are eager to get started. Lastly, we would like to thank Cynthia and Roy from CAFE and Rafi from AARP/WHO for their guidance through this whole process. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelica. Colma has been pretty busy. I love your last statement on your slide. It's great to be alive in Colma. That's fantastic. From San Mateo, we have Vince Simeonitis, who is an aging and retirement activist. Vince, you may now speak.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to represent the age-friendly city of San Mateo and the many dedicated people who contributed to this significant recognition. By way of quick background, San Mateo has the largest senior population in the county with over 14,000 residents over 65. We have a decent amount of senior housing of all types, many senior services already available, including the RIDE program that Pacifica modeled their program after, which was nice to see. We have a vibrant senior center facility and programming, and we have an active senior citizens commission advising city council on senior programs and issues since 1986. So our CAFE consultants gave us confidence that we were well positioned going into this process. And hopefully we can demonstrate for you that we did that. The input that we got from our focus groups and all the individual interviews we did, we came up with about almost 30 projects that met the gaps that were identified. And we applied 3 filters to that list of almost 30 to get to the final 4 that we took to the city. We applied a policy screen first to take out all those projects that were too time consuming or politically challenging that would reduce our chances of success. The next screen was an impact screen. So we filtered out the project ideas that impacted relatively small numbers of seniors and let the ones through that hit large populations of not only seniors, but other residents and populations as well. And the final screen was an acknowledgement to COVID-19 budget and resource impacts, so that we took away those that really would take more than was reasonable to expect the city could handle and the volunteers that we could get would handle. So we came up with 4 projects that I'm going to go through quickly now. And the city, when we turned them over, actually broke them out before they accepted all 4, but lumped them into a phase 1 and 2 so that we could be sure we could be successful in this crazy environment that we're in. The first project in phase 1 was safe walking routes for seniors and everybody. The most common feedback that we got in all of our sessions was the condition of the sidewalks in the city. There were tripping hazards and other impediments, and that was spoken about with passion, often coupled with safety concerns about short time intervals, specific intersections and wider streets. The city already has a citywide sidewalk repair program that we needed to factor into any project. So what we came up with is the idea of identifying, prioritizing repairs on specific routes that the most seniors use. So that involves the idea of identifying where the concentrations of seniors are in the city. Where are those larger senior housing complexes, looking at census tract data in the neighborhoods to see where most of our seniors live. And then taking from those locations, where do those seniors most likely walk to medical facilities, to shopping areas, to restaurants, to the Social Security Administration, parks, places of worship, etc. And by plotting on maps those routes, we could turn those over to the city and have the city prioritize those for repair, because the benefits of repairing those versus some which would impact fewer seniors are obvious. So we have already met with the Director of Public Works, Deputy Director of Public Works, to share this. And he shared with us an in-progress citywide ADA self-evaluation effort, which will complete in the first quarter of the year. And he knew that there's a lot of data that's going to come out of that without a system for prioritization, how to tackle it. So he's very enthused about what we can do to help with that process. So we're off to a good start there. The second project is a little bit different. We learned from our focus groups that for many of the gaps that were identified, there really are already services available in the city that are just unknown to our seniors. The information about them isn't delivered to them in the ways that they receive information. And particularly if they're not technologically literate, or they don't have the resources or speak other language, they're at further disadvantage accessing these services, even if they find out about them. So this one's about working with community partners to share information about existing services, activities, and events in new ways that reach them effectively. And then the bottom line is, it really doesn't involve creating new services, but it does enable more seniors to take advantage of services already available. So in phase two, we will be doing some preliminary exploratory work about our phase two projects in phase one, but that's mainly to gather information, research best practices, look at what other cities are doing in order to move those forward when the time allows. The first one of those is intergenerational programs. This started as an idea to pair gap year students with seniors in formal programs to work on technology and other needs, but we expanded it to consider other things. We already have a lot of intergenerational programs in our senior center, and we will blend those into the phase one project to make sure that more people know about them and take advantage of them. But the key emphasis on new programs is going to be making sure that we identify programs where the younger generation benefits from the experience and wisdom of the seniors, ensuring the partnering benefits go both ways. The second project is very similar to what Roy talked about in Pacifica. We have already explored partnering with the Chamber of Commerce to develop age-friendly training, physical criteria, and services which, when satisfied, would earn city recognition and allow businesses to promote themselves as age-friendly. And doing that would preferentially attract the business of seniors to help both them and the business thrive in the community as our demographics change. So that's a quick summary of how we selected our projects and what each of them looks like. I didn't have time to acknowledge all of the task force members who participated, but I did want to mention a couple that played key leadership roles. Linda Burrows was our task force chair. You may know her from her, she was formerly executive director of the villages of San Mateo County. Monica Lee of our task force was the chair of the Senior Citizens Commission in our city and is also on the county core team for Age Friendly. Winnie Yu helped us a lot with self-help for the elderly. And our city representatives, Sheila Kanzan and Bob Palacio, they shepherded our projects and application through the process to the finish line. So we're grateful to them and all of our focus group and task force members for their dedication, time, and commitment. We're really looking forward to doing the work ahead to bring these benefits to San Mateo and make us an even more age-friendly city. Thank you.
Thank you, Vince, for your presentation. You and your task members have picked some projects that will really benefit your community. So thank you very much. I would now like to introduce Patricia Maxwell, who is the owner of Maxwell Senior Care Geriatric Care Management and also the founder of the Foster City Village. Patricia, you may now speak.
Thank you very much indeed. And thank you to Dr. Pelham and Supervisor Canepa for spearheading and encouraging age-friendly city initiatives. Of course, it takes a village, and without without any more ado, I'd like to introduce the other members of the task force who worked very diligently on this. To Sam Hindi, Foster City Council member, Dante Hall, Foster City Acting City Manager, and Jennifer Liu, Director of the Foster City Parks and Recreation Department, and Deborah Oudham, Chair of the Park and Recreation Cities Advisory Committee, and also the Director of RSVP of San Mateo and Northern Santa Clara counties, and Julie Papping from Foster City, who's an HR analyst. Jennifer Pham, also an analyst with Foster City. Steve Okamoto, former council member and community advocate and fellow Rotarian, and Ray Rosenthal, community advocate and Lions Club member. And last but not least, Amit Saini, community advocate and former PRC member. We at Foster City Task Force started meeting only in last July of 2020, and with the help of the Center of Age-Friendly Excellence, known as CAFE, that's Roy Ernest and Cynthia Nakayamu, who guided us and encouraged us. We recruited older adult Foster City residents to participate in focus group discussions that provided input on what they considered to be unmet needs for residents over the age of 60. Based on the input from those focus groups, we selected 4 inaugural projects. 41, I might tell you. Upon pending approval from Foster City's City Council, we will submit our application to the AARP World Health Organization to have Foster City certified as an age-friendly community and to become a member of the AARP WHO network of age-friendly states and communities. Here is a summary of the inaugural age-friendly project that we plan to further develop and implement to enhance the livability of Foster City for their older adult residents. Project 1. To plan for the support and sustainability of Foster City's Age-Friendly City Initiative, known as AFC. This project's goal is to support all our age-friendly activities. Some examples of the strategies we'll be exploring are as follows. Identifying the portions of the project the city staff will take lead on, developing and implementing versus the tasks that will need more community support from individual citizens and local organizations. We will recruit new members for our task force who are interested in helping us coordinate, further develop and implement our projects. Our recruitment will not be limited to persons over the age of 60, but we will welcome interested persons of all ages who want to support our initiatives. We will explore the possibility of applying to national service style programs such as Public Allies AmeriCorps project that manages the nationwide livable community program, or to Encore.org, the On-Call Fellows Program. These programs will make it possible for us to recruit and select a full-time national service volunteer who would receive a modest living allowance for 1 year. They could assist with coordination of our task force, grant writing, best practice research, volunteer recruitment, among many other tasks that would provide us with much needed support. We would meet with the county and other age-friendly cities in San Mateo County to discuss how we might be able to secure funding for a county-wide age-friendly community coordinator that could provide guidance and support to all of our age-friendly efforts. We would try and avoid recreating the wheel, so to speak, but replicating the proven age-friendly strategies used by other local age-friendly cities, as well as from AARP's National Age-Friendly Network. We would seek out potential funding sources for some of our age-friendly projects. And we will contact local nonprofit and public senior service providers to explore whether the goals of our projects would align with their mission through existing programs or new programs that might have a potential funding source. Our second project was to promote existing and develop new volunteer and employment opportunities. This project will address the unmet needs we learned about during our focus group discussions with Foster City residents as they relate to the age-friendly domain of civic engagement and employment opportunities. Our goals are to increase awareness of existing volunteer and employment opportunities for Foster City residents of age 60 plus, as well as develop new ones. Some of the strategies we'll use will include, during our first year in 2021, we'll recruit a working subcommittee of interested community members that will identify and implement ways to provide a more coordinated and easier to access overview of current volunteer and employment opportunities. Emphasis will be placed on volunteer opportunities that will enhance existing programs to fill in gaps within the city's senior services. In our second year and beyond, we will identify volunteer opportunities beyond the city's programs to network and collaborate with other organizations throughout the county that offer volunteer employment programs that serve Foster City residents. We will research successful age-friendly initiatives from cities, both locally as well as nationally, that have similar goals and consider replicating them here in Foster City as well. Our third project was to increase communication about community support services and recreational opportunities for older adults and their families. This project will address the unmet needs we learned about during our focus group discussions with Foster City residents as they relate to the age-friendly domain of community support and health services. Our goals are to increase communication of existing community support and recreational opportunities for Foster City residents aged 60 plus, as well as develop new ones. The strategies we will be using will conclude reevaluating how the city currently communicates these types of resources to make them more robust, comprehensive, useful, and more accessible across the digital divide. We will reach out to local nonprofit and community organizations that are currently providing services to older adults to find ways we can support them in increasing awareness of their services and for them to assist in our communication and information efforts. During the second year and beyond, we'll explore ways we can organize and coordinate programming to bring these resources together for in-person information exchange, such as guest speakers and events in partnership with nonprofit, public, and other community organizations. We will explore potential funding sources to support a part-time social worker who would be available at specified times to talk one-on-one with Foster City's older adults and their families about community support services, health services, as well as recreation opportunities that are available from a variety of organizations in Foster City and the county. We'll research successful age-friendly initiatives from other cities, both locally as well as nationally, and consider in some way replicating them here in Foster City. And last but not least, our fourth project was to develop a multifaceted plan to reach out to isolated and homebound elders, recognizing that Foster City's accomplished elders and develop meaningful intergenerational connections among residents of all ages. This project will address the unmet needs we learned and about during our focus group discussions with Foster City residents as they relate to the age-friendly domain of respect and social inclusion. The strategies we'll use to accomplish our goals will include, but not be limited to, identifying how we currently reach out to isolated older adults and look at ways we can improve, and to expand our existing bi-monthly senior meal program so it takes place on more days. Identify and promote currently available intergenerational opportunities and develop new ones, much the same as we've seen in other European countries. And organize an annual recognition event of accomplished elders of Foster City, exploring potential funding sources to support these efforts. As with all our other projects, we will research successful age-friendly initiatives and work with our fellow communities to become nationally other friendly initiatives from cities, both locally as well as nationally, and consider replicating them in Foster City. And thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of this. We are grateful.
Thank you so much, Patricia, for that fantastic presentation. And now we will have Anne start the question and answer session.
Thank you, Sophia. First, I would like to thank all the speakers for presenting your city projects. You are breaking down the barriers that many older people experience on a daily basis. We did get a few questions ahead of time, and so I will start with those. I do want to preface by saying that in case we don't get to your question this evening, please send your question through the chat, and we will get back to you next week with answers. I've looked at some of those questions, and I may have to contact particular council members or staff in order to get a good answer. So I also left my email in the chat, so please feel free to send your question to my email, and I will answer those also next week. So let's start. Just for the panelists, if you want to answer the question, please raise your hand. so I can see and call on you. So the first question, what challenges did you come across during this process of becoming an age-friendly city? I will start with Angelica.
So Colma actually started the process at the beginning of the pandemic. So that was definitely difficult for us. And I felt like it was also challenging for Cafe as well, because we had to do everything over the phone and online. And a lot of, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of cities are just like us. Our older adults love to do everything in person. So it was hard for us to find the time to do many focus groups over Zoom meetings and through the telephone. So since a lot of our residents or our community, they love to do things in person, it was a little challenging to get a focus group together because a lot of them, they didn't know how to use Zoom or they just weren't, they didn't even know what Zoom was. So we were fortunate that Cynthia and Roy, they actually did trial runs with them. They offered it to our potential focus group members, and that definitely helped because, you know, if they had questions of how do I turn on my video or how do I unmute myself, they were able to answer those questions for them. And, you know, Roy and Cynthia, they definitely like did a lot for us. For those who didn't have electronic devices, they actually did one-on-one telephone focus groups. So those older adults who wanted to put in their input about Colma, they were able to do it. And so despite all of our challenges and our older adults not having electronic devices, we were able to push through it and, you know, get it done within a couple of months. And honestly, it was Roy and Cynthia who did a lot of that, and we definitely thank them for helping us get through that hurdle.
Great, thank you very much, Angelica. Is there someone else that would like to answer that question? How about you, Laura?
Thank you. Had a hard time with the unmute button there. So one of our main challenges, it was the inclusion of all the demographics, all the different languages, all the different cultures. When we actually created all the events, we wanted to make sure that we included everyone because that's what we are, you know. An age-friendly city includes everyone, but it was a challenge to try to promote in different languages, to be able to reach out to all the communities and to make sure that we didn't exclude anyone, and to make sure that we didn't insult any cultures by maybe creating an event that would be offensive to them. So we need to do a lot of research in order to actually create these events and implement them. And it's a working process where, you know, we want them to be part of the task force, the different demographics, so they can actually help us create these wonderful events and to be able to include everyone. So that was our specific challenge that we are working through very well so far. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laura. The next question I have is, how will you make sure projects are actually implemented? Because you've spent a lot of time developing projects that you want your cities to implement. And so we want to make sure they're able to follow through. And I will ask Cherie, please. If you can unmute yourself.
Hold on.
Hi, here we go. Hi, Anne, thank you. So great question. And as I said in my presentation, collaboration is a bedrock of daily city services. So for the last 40 years, we've been developing a stable of allies and volunteers who've been helping us with our projects. And so our projects are moving along because they've been there the whole time, and they're so passionate about the work to turn this to make us an age-friendly city in every sense of the word. It also helps that the city manager is a master of gerontology. Shauna Maltby earned her master's in gerontology last December, so she understands the value of the work that we do. And then the city manager's office is solidly, not just the city manager's office, but the whole leadership of the city is solidly behind us. They're technologically savvy, so as far as communication is concerned, which is a big push right now, because we do have the services in place, but what's missing is for people to know that it's out there. And so we're working on that. And Ann Cooney and Jennifer Dare of our library and recreation services are on top of things. We're also a very diverse community. And so we are going into the sectors that that are underserved. We're happy to say that we have, for example, the Filipino Bayanihan Resource Center that encourages its members to get engaged. And we're lucky to have Daly City as the home of 2 Filipino-American newspapers that provide us with all the announcements and access to media outreach that we need. So we do get the word out through them. And like I said, our projects are in progress, so we see ourselves on track to fulfill it as scheduled. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cherie. And looking at the chat questions, we are getting close to the end of our presentation here, but I do want to mention there was a question in regard to housing in San Mateo and how do you balance housing in neighborhoods and multi-dwelling housing. So what I will do is if you can send me that question to my email, I will contact one of the council members in San Mateo to get back to you. There was another question from Mr. Sullivan from Pacifica in regard to trails, mountain trails, and our county parks. And that is something we can bring up with the head of our parks department and see what options can be utilized futuristically. We do want to make sure that we keep the safety between, you know, dogs and children and adults and bikes. So thank you very much to our panelists. You've done such a great job, and thank you to all the attendees that watched our webinar this evening. It's amazing the amount of people that signed on this evening. So please don't forget to send your questions, and I will respond to those questions next week. So on that note, I am going to bring back Supervisor Canepa for some closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Ann, and thank you to the panelists. Really important information. And Anabel, the legacy that you've left, oh wow, it's just amazing the work that you've done and how we have kind of created a tremendous amount of momentum. And I'm looking forward to working with the county to add additional cities. So I would like to thank everyone tonight for all their hard work these past 2 years. As many of you know, I sit on the Commission on Aging, the San Mateo County Hospital Board, and the Health Plan of San Mateo. I've learned that the county's population is rapidly aging and that we need to continually assess their needs. We are transforming San Mateo County forever into a caring community that encourages people of all ages to live active lives. These groundbreaking projects our 6 cities have developed help pave the future to accommodate our aging population. I would like to thank critical partner, Peninsula Family Services, for bringing us here for the initial conversations and looking into the advantages of becoming an age-friendly county. In particular, I do want to recognize Heather Cleary. I would also like to thank the CAFE team for assisting us along this journey towards age-friendly certification. Again, I'd like to congratulate our 6 cities, Redwood City, Daly City, Pacifica, Colma, San Mateo, and Foster City, who've been able to develop plans to implement a vision to enable our older adults to live the fullest, happiest lives possible. We now have 14 more cities to accomplish our ultimate goal, to make this county age-friendly. I hope with all of you and many of you. You know, Laura, Angelica, Vince, Cherie, Roy, and my good friend out of Foster City, Patricia Maxwell. We're hoping we can continue this. And so I want to thank all of you in attendance this evening. I want to thank you for supporting this endeavor. I want to kind of talk about briefly next week an up and coming event that our office is hosting. And it's unique. It's come share your experiences with racial inequity. It's the first of a 3-part series that'll take place next week. And then we go into December and January. So that's Thursday, November 19th from 6 p.m. To 8 p.m. It'll be hosted by the Peninsula Conflict Resolution Center. And so again, it's on your screen. It's come and share your experiences with racial inequity. We're focused specifically on District 5, but that being said, racial inequity doesn't go by supervisorial districts. So we're encouraging everyone from throughout the county to participate. And again, I want to, before I close, I want to thank my colleagues so graciously at the Board of Supervisors. Mike Callaghy, who's been our county manager, has done a tremendous job. He's been listening the whole time. And so we're very, very fortunate to have the team we have. And so I want to bid everyone good night. And thank you so much. If you need to connect with us, that is my cell phone number. It's 415-513-9410. My staff laughs, but 24 hours, 7 days a week, you can call. If you want to call the office, it's 650-363-4572. And then you can email us, dcanepa@smcgov.org. And you can follow us on Twitter @DavidCanepa, Facebook, David Canepa, on Instagram @DavidCanepa. And these young kids are trying to get me to do TikTok. So next time we do our presentation, we'll be on TikTok. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Thank you, and have a fantastic night. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. Thanks so much for attending.